All right, Jody, here's your video. I hope this helps the new up-and-comers. My name is Dawson Gambrell.
Hey everyone, my name is Alexis Wilson. I graduated from Unicoi County High School in 2018 and then went to Tennessee Tech University to get a 4-year degree in electrical engineering and graduated in December of 2021. And now I work at Eastman Chemical Company here in Kingsport, Tennessee as a utilities electrical engineer. And I love my job, I love where I'm at, and I'm very grateful for the Ayers Foundation and their counseling to help get me here. So what my experience with that looked like personally was I was a first generation college student. And so I had no idea what my options were. I didn't know what I was or was not capable of, or regardless of what I was capable of, what I would and would not be able to do due to finances, because in addition to being first generation college student, we were also a relatively low income family. And so I didn't know if just joining the military, if not doing any sort of education afterwards and having to get straight to getting a job, or Tennessee Promise 2 years free was relatively new at the time. It was about 2 years old, and I didn't know what that looked like for me, if a trade was going to be available or some other 2-year degree. And 4-year degrees were not on my mind at all. I had absolutely no idea that that would be possible for me. And with the help of the Ayers Foundation, that's where I am now, and that's what I have now. And I'm very grateful for that. And so that process was one that needed to be explained to me by the Ayers Foundation of what were possible options for me. So again, having them lay that out and understanding what a FAFSA is, understanding the aid that I could have to be able to have a 4-year degree, understanding scholarships and how to apply for those. And with the aid of the Ayers Foundation, I was able to apply to scholarships, fill out my FAFSA, and receive enough aid to graduate with a 4-year degree debt-free. And that's amazing. That's incredible. And it's not something I would have been able to do, one, because I wouldn't know to do it or know that that was an option for me, but two, the documentation side of things to go through that process isn't one I would have been able to do on my own. Again, not having any sort of parental help or assistance at home. Not because they didn't want to help me, but because they didn't know how to, because they've never done that themselves. So filling out a FAFSA, taxes, I had no idea what those were, and having to fill out that documentation with tax information, knowing those deadlines when everything was due, knowing to even where to go to create an account with the Tennessee Board of Education. Of course, scholarships, something completely additional to the FAFSA process, outside scholarships as well as through the college university scholarships, actually applying to a university. It's a lot of different pieces that you have to go through in order to get an upper education. And without Ayers, that's not something I would have known to do. So having someone to lay that out for me, to create a schedule for me, to give me a to-do list and then help me through that to-do list was very important for me, and is the main reason why I was able to go to school and get a 4-year degree myself. In addition to that, one critique that I do have is I think counselors see a lot of students. I think it's easy to get into a routine and to start to do things for students rather than being teaching and enabling students. So I found myself reaching out to my counselor my sophomore and junior year, again, asking how to fill out my FAFSA, because it is a reoccurring documentation, and needing help with assistance, not remembering my username, and so maybe some sort of help documentation that students can take with them after the fact. And that's not to say my counselor wasn't teaching me how to do things. Some of that is probably just that I was 18 and that I had no idea what people were saying to me, and so I wasn't retaining that information. So maybe a year later, sending out a help document so that students can maybe do that on their own, and then counselors aren't burdened with taking care of older students and the new students that they have in their care. But that's also important for students to be able to stay in college and to continue receiving that aid. That would be my only critique, and something that would be a nice additional thing to do for students once they've already left your care. But again, knowing my options, feeling encouragement in those options, and having someone tell me what was possible and how to accomplish that was definitely the main takeaway that I had from the Ayers Foundation, and I'm very grateful for where I am today because of that. Thank you.
Went to school for electrical technology. And at the time, I didn't know what. And yeah, before anybody makes any funny jokes, yeah, I'm wearing the same shirt that matches my seat covers. Okay, so what? But anyway, the trainees, up-and-comers of the Ayers Foundation, I'm telling you what. Y'all got a lot to prepare for, man. In my eyes, I don't know how it really is. I don't know. I'm just telling you from what I seen. All I know is me and my buddies put Jody through basically straight hell. But I go ahead and tell you right now, Jody, she fought damn tooth and nail for us. Tooth and nail, son. I'm telling you right now. Especially for me, I don't know how it is with anybody else, but for me, she went to bat, man. Went to bat. She put up my dumb ass for God knows how long, for like 2 years straight. You know, she had to deal with kids coming in her classroom when they weren't supposed to be there. You know, 90% of the time I wasn't supposed to be there. But I'll tell you this right now.
Hey Ayers Foundation, my name is Elizabeth Sutphin and I'm originally from Unicoi County, Tennessee. I went to Unicoi County High School and then Belmont University and graduated in May of 2022 with a degree in corporate communications and global leadership studies. After graduation, I was so fortunate to get a job working with Exile International. It's an international faith-based nonprofit based right here in Nashville, Tennessee, and we have just the honor of serving child survivors of war in the nations of Congo and Uganda. So I'm very privileged to get to do Exile's marketing and communications, all of which I wouldn't be able to do without the lessons and the connections I made at Belmont. I want to say thank you all so much for all of the work you do, because without the Ayers Foundation, I never would have considered Belmont. It was a very expensive school, but through the Ayers Foundation, I was able to get a full ride scholarship, and that's just been probably one of the biggest blessings of my life, was getting connected with Belmont and getting an education from there. Truly has just been such a gift. And I cannot say thank you enough to the Ayers Foundation for making that possible. Miss Jody was my Ayers counselor when I was in high school, and she is just a treasure. I wish all students got the opportunity to work with Ayers counselors like Miss Jody because of how impactful she was on my college journey. I was always a perfectionist, straight A student who got stressed out about a lot of things for sometimes no reason at all, but the idea of having to pick a college to me was always so stressful because I wanted to make sure I made the right decision. I wanted to make sure I got as much financial aid as I could and didn't make the wrong choice financially or for my education. So I was putting a lot of pressure on myself, but I think the most helpful thing about Miss Jody and the Ayers counselors at my school at the time were how positive they were. Anytime you went into the Ayers office, they were always so warm, so welcoming, and so kind, and that really alleviated a lot of the pressure I was feeling about choosing the right school. They really made an effort to get to know us and get to know our interests and what we were hoping to get out of a college experience so that they can make the best recommendations. Miss Jody was one of the first people who talked to me about Belmont and the atmosphere of the school and different scholarship opportunities there were. She really walked with me all along the way. She was so helpful with the FAFSA, and it was just so wonderful to get to work with her throughout this process. I'm lucky to have parents who both went to college and who understood what this process looks like, but to have somebody in your school dedicated to working on those applications with you is something that I never would have imagined I would have, but certainly wouldn't have wanted to take for granted. because it is so, so special and important to have somebody to guide you through that process. And for that to be their full focus, that's amazing. And I'm so grateful just for the work that you all do and your kindness and the joy and the love that you show students. It really makes an impact and goes farther than you know. Thanks, y'all.
And my dumb ass, I didn't even really want to go to college. The biggest thing of it all, really, is I didn't even want to go to college. As soon as I got done with my high school degree, I was going to go work. I was going to go to work. And I still did that. I'm still doing that to this day. I'm a lineman to this day, working my hometown, working on the power lines. Wouldn't have it any other way. If it wasn't for Jody, I wouldn't be where I am. If it wasn't for the Ayers Foundation, I probably wouldn't be where I am. But I'm telling you, you got to have patience with these youngins, because if they're anything like I was when I was in high school, I already know that Jody, I go and tell you this just for an example. We went to a football game a year after I graduated. I was at this football game. Jody came and she just started talking to this new guy, which is now her husband. They married, they got a baby or babies. Hell, I don't even know anymore. But hell, they got a family, and I sized them up. That's how much I cared about Jody. You know what I mean? That's just what I'm saying. That's how much I cared about Jody. I sized them up. Sue me, hell, I love Jody, man. Jody took good care of me, man. Gave me everything that I have right now, basically. The Ayers Foundation basically gave me everything I had. But, you just got to have patience with these youngins, because Jody had unlimited patience with me. Because I was not the good kid. I wasn't a bad guy, but hell, I was just a hell raiser, and you're going to have them. And they're probably worse nowadays than what they was when I graduated. Hell, I graduated back in 2017. I feel like I'm an old dog, old dog, that dog that they retired from chasing bears, Don't get me wrong, I'm still out here chasing, but it ain't no bears no more. Hell, I can't handle no bears no more.
Hi, my name is Bailey Miller. I'm a 2018 UCHS grad, and then I went on to pursue my theater education degree at East Tennessee State University. I graduated with that this past May, and now I'm a Spanish teacher at Unicoi County High School. So I have a dual viewpoint of the Ayers office, both as a student and as a teacher, and it's amazing. And the Ayers office for me was such a door opener, from FAFSAs to field trips. They were amazing. As a teacher, it's also, it's probably even more amazing to see what they do for my kids. The most mind-blowing thing for me was last year I got to be in the room. I was doing my student teaching. I got to be in the room when they announced that we're now one of those Ayers schools, the special Ayers schools. I'm sorry, I can't remember what they're called, but the one where students receive scholarship money. And I watched students who had walked in there without hope, knew that they were just going to do what they had to do to get by for the rest of their lives. I watched them walk out the door with light bulbs over their heads and gears turning and smiles on their faces, because they knew that their lives were about to change. And that will never get out of my head. I still remember how I feel that day, and it was amazing. So I'm telling you this, I can't imagine how hard your job is. I don't know how you do what you do, but you are opening doors. And you are changing lives, and I know that it'll be hard. Kids are stinkers sometimes, but it's so worth it when they get to be who they want to be. So I encourage you, just have fun. We don't need any more stress. You don't need any more stress. The kids don't need any more stress. And just love them. Love them so much, because that's what they need. Somebody that cares about their future. So with that being said, I know that you will have a great year. I hope you have a tremendous time at the Ayers Foundation, and thank you for all you do.
But the Ayers Foundation, man, is a great thing. It's a good thing these trainees that you're training on, Jody, that they want to be a part of it. God knows my life would not be what it is right now if it wasn't for the Ayers Foundation. Because my FAFSA, it was hard to do when my daddy wasn't in the picture. My mom had never really had like a steady income type deal shit. I can't remember, but she never really had like a steady job and all that. So basically, Jody, I mean, I was like, came up from nothing. So Jody brought me up from basically nothing. Basically nothing. I had nothing, you know. Nobody in my family ever been to college before. Nobody had, you know. And you know, Jody fucking found a way around all of that. You know, the Ayers Foundation's a great thing for youngins like me. I feel like I did indeed make the most of it. I did.
Hey, how are you guys doing? My name's Kendrick Williams. I'm a graduate of the class 2017 at Unicoi County High School. I was actually the first Ayers class, I believe. Anyways, after I graduated high school, I went to ETSU, got a degree in biology and a minor in health sciences. Knew I wanted to go to medical school. I was lucky enough to be able to stay around, and I'm now a third-year student at the Quillen College of Medicine, right across the street from the main campus on the VA side. So I graduate there in May of 2025 with hopes of going into either you know, like family medicine or internal medicine. I'm not sure yet. No, I want to be a primary care physician, so we'll see. We'll see how that goes. Excited for the future, so we'll see. For you guys, there's really two things I would say that, you know, kind of helped me from a student perspective, having gone through it. So one, as simple as it sounds, just check in as much as you can, you know, early and often. And this kind of goes for the people more that, you know, they're out in college, you know, the ones that are out in college on their own and trying to navigate this super difficult and super stressful time where there's a million things to do, a million boxes to check, and people, you know, like Jody were that for me, and she was a superstar. I know I wouldn't have had the success I had if it weren't for Jody, and I wouldn't be in the position I'm in if it weren't for Jody and you folks at the Ayers Foundation. So as simple as it sounds, just check in as much as you can and see if there's anything you can do. Number two, I would say just, you know, don't ever give up on a student, and don't, you know, just do anything that you can to support their dreams. You know, I came out of high school with a 3.0 GPA. It's like a 18, 19 ACT, and I'll be a doctor in like a year. So I don't say that to brag or to boast. I just say it to say, you know, even though a student may not, you know, seem as they have it figured out or you know, may not have all their ducks in a row, that doesn't mean they can't, you know, find it along the way and do whatever they need to do to accomplish their dreams. So that's really all I have to say. So yeah, good luck, and I can't wait to work with you guys in the future. I'm sure I'll meet you, and thanks for all you do.
It's a Friday. Every Friday I come out to Texas Roadhouse, splurge a little bit, you know. Hey, don't get me wrong, I am financially smart, but a man's got to do what a man's got to do. On Fridays, I like to come to the Texas Roadhouse and get a steak. You know, that's what my guilty pleasure is. But I'm telling y'all, don't be scared. Y'all trainees, don't be scared, man. These kids are going to come in. If they're anything like I was, I don't know. Maybe it's different. Maybe it's worse. I don't know. But I was a straight douche, really. I'd barge into the room, be like, what's up, Jody? What's up, Jesse? And I'd be straight chilling in there for hours and hours. And then finally, Joe'd be like, dude, look, you got to go to class. You got to go to class, you know. And I'd be like, all right then, Jody, all right then. So, I mean, I know y'all probably know how to deal with all that. But like I said, if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't be where I am. My FAFSA was a different breed. It really took us the whole second semester of my senior year to get my shit straight and get it going. But I guess that's all I got to say. And I'm not the one to talk, especially on a video. I do better in person. She called me about going in person. I could definitely talk y'all's ears off in person, but this video thing is a little weird. But anyway, I appreciate y'all. Appreciate everything y'all do. If it wasn't for y'all, I wouldn't have the career I have today. You know, and I hope somehow, some way, you know, this inspires y'all to change other kids' lives, because my life was definitely changed 100% because of the Ayers Foundation. But that's about all I got.